My name is Carol. It's Wednesday morning, and the atmosphere in my house is thick with anticipation. The silver Camry pulls into the driveway, and I see my mother, Lily, come in first with a bottle of wine as a peace offering. Behind her is my father, Victor, moving slower than ever, leaning on his cane. They think they can just walk back into my life, but they have no idea what's about to unfold. It all started 2 weeks ago when I saw the message from Lily on my Facebook. It had been years since I'd even thought about them. That day, I was at the counter in my kitchen, sipping my overly strong coffee like I do every morning. But this wasn't a normal morning. The message sat there in gray text, a reminder of a past I'd rather forget. I didn't need to open it to know it was trouble. I set the phone face down, just like I've learned to do when life throws me a curveball. I got my kids, Alex and Maya, ready for school. Alex was asking for pancakes, and Maya wanted the one shaped like a star. I drove them to school, my phone still face down on the passenger seat. I didn't want to deal with whatever my parents were about to throw at me. At work, I'm a dental hygienist at a local dental practice. That morning, I had a full schedule. But I've always been good at separating my personal life from work. I put on my scrubs, washed my hands twice, and opened the first chart. Mrs. Thompson, an 80-year-old woman who had just lost her husband, sat in my chair and started crying. I comforted her, just like I always do. I didn't tell her about the message from my mother. This was my job, to take care of these women who had been left behind, and I did it well. I got home at 5:30, and my husband, Ryan, was already there, coming off a night shift from the fire department. He kissed the top of my head and picked up Maya. He didn't need to ask, he could tell something was wrong. After the kids were in bed, I slid the phone across the kitchen table. Ryan read the message twice. Your father is very sick. Congestive heart failure. He's on the transplant evaluation list. We need to talk. May we come to Franklin next weekend? Ryan is the most understanding man. He said, "This is your call, love. Whatever it is, I've got you." I told him I wanted to call Dad Joe first. Dad Joe is not my biological father, but he's been more of a father to me than Victor ever was. I went out on the back porch and dialed his number. He answered on the second ring, drinking his iced tea. "Sweetheart, they found me," he said. He knew right away what I was calling about. "You already made this decision, honey. You just have to feel it now." I remembered the days when I was a teenager. I was 17, and my sister, Stella, was 19. She was the golden child in our family. Our parents, Lily and Victor, spent all their money on Stella's education at a fancy university. They bought her a brand new car, a 2018 BMW, and sent her extra money every week because she was stressed about a project. Meanwhile, I worked at a local diner after school and drove an old 2005 Honda Civic that I bought with my own tips. There was a huge calendar on the refrigerator in our house, and Lily had written in her flowery handwriting all about Stella's life. Stella's parties, Stella's dates, Stella's study sessions. There was nothing about me on that calendar. One Thursday in November, I woke up with a sharp pain in my belly. I thought it was just a stomachache at first. But as the day went on, the pain got worse. By the end of school, I could barely stand up. I walked to my best friend, Lucy's house. Lucy's mom made us grilled cheese and tomato soup, but I could only take one bite. The pain had moved to my lower right side, and I knew something was seriously wrong. "Text your mom to pick you up," Lucy said. So I did. It was already raining outside, cold and miserable. I left Lucy's house at 10 p.m. wearing a thin jacket and carrying my old phone. By 10:30, I was leaning against a stop sign across from a diner. I called Victor. He answered on the second ring, and I could hear the noise of the road. "Dad, I need help. Something's really wrong." "Is Stella dying?" he asked. "No. Then it can wait. Your sister has a flat tire on the highway, and she's panicking. What do you want me to do about your little stomachache? And with that, he hung up on me. I stood there in the rain, watching my phone battery die. The pain was unbearable. I took a few steps towards the diner, but I could only make it a few feet before I collapsed on the curb. I remember thinking that if I just closed my eyes, the pain would stop. Then, I saw the headlights of a truck. A man named Joe, a mechanic, got out of the truck. He saw me and immediately came over. "Where does it hurt, sweetheart?" he asked. I pointed to my lower right side, and he pressed gently. Then he took out his old-fashioned flip phone and called his wife, Diane. "Diane, I need you at the ER entrance in 15 minutes. A 17-year-old girl with right lower quadrant pain, cold sweat. I'm not waiting for the ambulance." He picked me up like I was a child and put me in his truck. On the way to the hospital, he sang softly to a song on the radio. Diane was waiting for us at the ER entrance. She was a nurse, and as soon as she saw me, she said, "Sweetheart, you're okay. I've got you now." The surgery took 90 minutes. My appendix had burst, but the doctors managed to save me. While I was in recovery, Diane tried to call my parents. She called and called, but no one answered. Finally, at 3 a.m., Victor answered. She told him where I was and what had happened, but he just said, "We'll come when we can." The next day, Lily showed up at the hospital. She didn't come to see me. She went straight to the front desk and asked for a discharge form because the bill was getting too expensive. Diane was furious. "Mrs. Last name, your daughter is in no condition to leave. This is a medical decision, not a family one." Lily just said, "I see," and left without even coming to my room. Diane took me in. She and Joe had a spare room in their house, and they treated me like their own daughter. I spent 4 nights in the hospital and then 4 more at their place. They were the family I never had. After high school, I went to community college to become a dental hygienist. I lived with Joe and Diane the whole time. I worked evenings at a restaurant to pay for my studies. They were always there for me, cheering me on. I met Ryan on Christmas Eve. He was helping an old woman up the stairs at the church. We started dating, and we got married in Joe and Diane's living room. Only 20 people came, but it was the best day of my life. My parents were invited, but they didn't come. Stella sent a card with a check for $500, but I never cashed it. A few years ago, Diane was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. It was hard to watch her health decline. But she was always so strong. She would say, "Carol, you can't spend your life taking care of me. You need to have your own life." With her encouragement, I found a job in Franklin and moved here. Joe drove me down, and he carried my things into my new apartment. A few months ago, Lucy called me. She told me that a week after that night, her mom had called Lily to ask about me, and Lily had said, "Carol exaggerates when she's tired. Please don't spread things." Lucy's mom knew then that there was something wrong with our family and told Lucy to stay close to me. Then, just a few weeks ago, Stella texted me. She said she had found Lily and Victor's boarding passes on Victor's iPad and that she had booked her own ticket. "I'm not okay. I've been trying to say this for a long time," she wrote. So here we are, on this Wednesday morning. My parents have just walked into my house, and Stella is about to walk in too. I know it's time to face the past. Before we talk about insurance, I say, looking at my parents, I want to talk about that November night. Lily inhales sharply and says in her rehearsed voice, "Sweetheart, that was so long ago. Your father was helping Stella with a flat tire." I interrupt her. She wasn't on the highway. She was on the local road, just a few miles from where I was. And Dad, you didn't come because you were somewhere else. Victor tries to deny it, saying I was just sick and confused. But Stella walks in at that moment. She's 35 now, but she looks tired and worn out. Yes, I did have a flat tire that night, she says. But Mom called me and said Dad was on his way from work, and he wasn't. When he finally showed up, his clothes smelled like another woman's perfume. I put it together that night, and I've been keeping it a secret ever since. Lily looks shocked. This is ridiculous, she says. But Stella doesn't stop. I was trained, not raised. Every time I needed something, and Mom called Dad, he would go to that woman's place. In exchange, I got my education paid for, a nice car, and help with my divorce. But it was all a lie. I look at my parents. I want to be very clear. I'm not going to help with insurance. There will be no money. You will not have access to my children. Any future contact goes through Diane, not through this house. And if either of you comes here without asking, Ryan will take action. My father stands up, his face red with anger. This is what strangers taught you? Yes, I say firmly. Joe and Diane are more of a family to me than you ever were. My mother walks to the door, her face pale. You always were the hard one to love. I know, and I'm the one still standing, I reply. After they leave, Stella breaks down in tears. Diane puts her arm around her. It's okay, dear. It's time to start healing. We sit around the table, and I tell Stella about the AA meetings. Start there. Diane will be with you. Stella nods. I don't deserve your kindness. Nobody deserves anything. That's the point, I say. Later that night, after everyone has left, I sit on the porch with Ryan. The kids are asleep inside. The porch light casts a warm glow. I think about all the years that have passed, and all the pain and love. Joe and Diane have given me the strength to face my past. And I know that from now on, I'll be surrounded by real family, the kind that chose me.